As an AI language model, I don't have the capability to see or remember previous interactions since I don't retain information outside of the current session. How can I assist you today?
What's up, everybody? This is Sebastian. I've decided to use ChatGPT to help me with programming, and I am pretty amazed by what it can do. As you will see, there are some glitches in the way, but overall I am happy with the results. It greatly accelerates the work and helps find bugs in your apps. So let's dive in and see what it can do for us. Hi, how are you?
Hello! As an AI language model, I don't have feelings or emotions, but I'm functioning properly and ready to help you with any questions or concerns you may have. How can I assist you today?
Long time no see.
As an AI language model, I don't have the capability to see or remember previous interactions since I don't retain information outside of the current session. However, I'm always here to help you with any questions or concerns you may have. How can I assist you today?
Can I give you a name?
Of course, you can give me a name. However, please keep in mind that I am just a machine and I don't have a physical form or identity, so the name you choose will not affect my functionality or abilities.
Let me call you Monica.
Sure, you can call me Monica. How can I assist you today?
Monica, are you good in programming?
As an AI language model, I have been programmed and trained to understand and generate human language, but I don't have a specific expertise in programming languages. However, I do have knowledge on various programming concepts, and I can try my best to help you with any programming-related questions or concerns you may have. What do you need help with?
What languages are you able to program in, Monica?
As an AI language model, I don't directly program in any specific language, but I have been trained on a wide variety of programming languages, including but not limited to Python, Java, JavaScript, C++, C#, Ruby, PHP, Swift and Go. I can help with questions related to these languages and more, including concepts such as data structures, algorithms, object-oriented programming, and more. Let me know if you have any specific questions or concerns.
Okay, let us get to work. I need an app in Python which will let me recognize circles in an image. The circles cannot be larger than 200 pixels and smaller than 50 pixels. I also need you to highlight the circles in red. Do you think Monica is able to perform this very specific task? Of course she is.
Sure, I can help you with that. We can use the OpenCV library in Python to detect and highlight circles in an image. Here's an example code that should accomplish what you're looking for. In this code, we first read in the image using cv2.imread. Then we convert it to grayscale using cv2.cvtcolor. We then use the cv2.hofcircles function to detect circles in the image. We specify various parameters to control the circle detection, including the minimum and maximum radii, which we set to 50 and 200 pixels, respectively. Finally, we draw the detected circles on the original image using cv2.circle with a red color specified by an align thickness of 2 pixels. The resulting image with highlighted circles is shown using cv2.imshow.
Can you modify the example above to a line thickness of 10?
Certainly. To modify the line thickness to 10, you can change the value of the last parameter in the cv2.circle function from 2 to 10. Here's the modified code. Now, the cv2.circle function will draw circles with a line thickness of 10 pixels, as specified by the last parameter.
Can you do me a favor and write me a script in HTML which contains JavaScript, which lets me upload PDF files to a server with an orange progress bar? The input field for the file, as well as the submit button, should expire after the file was successfully uploaded to a server.
Sure. Here's an example HTML and JavaScript code that will let you upload PDF files to a server with an orange progress bar and disable the input field and submit button after the upload is complete. In this code, we first create an input field and a submit button using HTML. We also create a progress bar using CSS that will be updated with the upload progress. We then use JavaScript to disable the input field and submit button when the page loads. When a file is selected using the input field, we create an XML HTTP request to upload the file to the server. We add an event listener to the XML HTTP request to update the progress bar as the file is uploaded. Finally, when the upload is complete, we enable the input field and submit button. Note that you will need to replace the upload URL in the code with the actual URL for your server-side file upload script.
Monica, can you write a corresponding script in PHP which will let me accept the PDF file from the script that you have just generated? I also need to sanitize the incoming data.
Sure, here's an example PHP code that will accept the uploaded PDF file and sanitize the incoming data. In this code, we first check if the request method is post, indicating that a file was uploaded. We then check if a file was uploaded by checking if the $files superglobal contains a file key. If a file was uploaded, we sanitize the file name using the filter sanitize string filter to remove any potentially malicious characters. We then move the uploaded file to a directory on the server using the move uploaded file function. After the file is uploaded, you can perform any additional processing on the file that you need to do. Finally, we return a success message to the client to indicate that the file was uploaded successfully. If no file was uploaded, we return an error message instead. Note that this code is a basic example and you should consider additional security measures depending on the requirements of your application.
Monica, are you able to generate Java code for Android devices?
Yes, I can generate Java code for Android devices. What do you need the code for?
I would like you to generate code for an Android device which I can use in Android Studio IDE. I need the code to be a WebView code with a web page embedded, cnn.com.
Sure, here's an example Java code for an Android WebView with the CNN website embedded. This code creates an Android activity called MainActivity, which contains a WebView that loads the CNN website. The onCreate method sets the content view to activity main.xml, which contains the WebView element with the ID WebView. We then enable JavaScript on the WebView by calling setJavaScriptEnabled on the WebView settings. Finally, we load the CNN website by calling loadURL on the WebView. Note that you'll need to add the necessary permissions to your Android manifest.xml file to allow the app to access the internet. You can do this by adding the following lines to your manifest file. Also, make sure to replace our .layout.activity main with the ID of your own layout file if you're using a different name for your layout.
Monica, can you generate code for Android devices which lets me create a store with products listed on my database store on a server in SQL? I have some 100 products and I also need a basket and a checkout section.
Yes, I can help you generate the code for an Android app that lets you create a store with products listed on your server's SQL database. Here's some sample code to get you started. First, you'll need to create a PHP script on your server that connects to your SQL database and returns the product data in a JSON format. Here's an example of how that script might look. This script retrieves all of the products from your SQL database and returns them as a JSON string. Make sure to replace the database connection details with your own. Next, you'll need to create an Android app that can retrieve the product data from the server and display it in a list. Here's an example of how that app might look. In this code, we first initialize a recycler view and a product adapter, which will display the product data in a list. We then retrieve the product data from the server by sending an HTTP request using the Volley library. When the response is received, we parse the JSON data and add the products to the product list. We then notify the product adapter that
she just stops right here. This is probably due to the fact that I'm using the free model. She is, nevertheless, providing us with an accurate description of what's going on in our apps. Monica, can you write Python code which allows me to recognize animal faces through a live feed from a camera?
Yes, I can help you with that. For animal face recognition through a live feed from a camera, we can use OpenCV, which is a popular computer vision library in Python. We can use the HAR Cascades classifier to detect faces and train it to recognize animal faces. Here's an example code that uses OpenCV to recognize faces in real-time video feed. You can modify the code to train it to recognize animal faces by using a dataset of animal face images and training a custom classifier with OpenCV.
Monica, how can I modify the latest example to detect only human faces?
To modify the code to detect only human faces, you can use a pre-trained HAR Cascades classifier that is specifically designed for detecting human faces. OpenCV provides a pre-trained classifier for this purpose, which you can download from this link. Once you have downloaded the classifier file, you can use it instead of the animal face classifier in the previous code. Here's the modified code that detects only human faces. In this modified code, we use the HAR Cascade frontal face default XML classifier file to detect only human faces. The rest of the code remains the same as the previous example.
Monica, can you write Python app that lets me detect only yellow trapezoids in a live feed from a camera?
Sure, here's a Python app that uses OpenCV to detect yellow trapezoids in a live feed from a camera. In this code, we first define the lower and upper bounds of the yellow color in HSV color space. We then define the trapezoid vertices in pixel coordinates. We use these vertices to draw a blue trapezoid on the frame, which will help us visualize the detected trapezoids. Inside the main loop, we first convert the frame to HSV color space and threshold it to extract yellow regions. We then apply a morphological transformation to fill any gaps in the yellow regions. We find the contours in the yellow regions, and for each contour, we check if it has 4 vertices. We then check if the aspect ratio of the quadrilateral is between 1.2 and 2.2. If both conditions are met, we draw a green trapezoid around the contour.
And once again, she does stop right here, even though I'm sure she wants to continue a little bit more. Monica, I have a noisy, skewed, and rotated image. I need a Python script to read QR code from that image. To be honest, I don't think it matters that the image is rotated in order to read a QR code from it.
To read QR codes from an image in Python, you can use the PysBar library. Here's an example script that reads a QR code from an image file. To handle noisy, skewed, and rotated images, you may need to perform some image preprocessing before applying the QR code detection algorithm. This could involve applying image filters to remove noise, deskewing the image, and rotating it to the correct orientation. There are many image processing libraries available in Python, such as OpenCV and Pillow, which you can use to perform these operations.
Monica, how can I remove skewing in an image with Python?
To remove skewing in an image with Python, you can use the skew function from the scikit-image library. Here's an example script that reads an image, finds the skew angle using the Hoff transform function, and then applies a rotation to remove the skew. This script first reads the image and converts it to grayscale. It then uses the Hoff transform to detect the skew angle of the image and applies a rotation to remove the skew. Finally, it saves the rotated image to a file. Note that the skew function only works for images that are skewed in one direction. If the image is skewed in multiple directions, you may need to use a more complex algorithm to correct the skew, such as the deskew function from the PyMageSearch library.
Monica, I need a Python script that lets me track a specific person in a live feed from a camera.
To track a specific person in a live feed from a camera in Python, you can use a combination of face detection and object tracking algorithms. Here's an example script that uses the OpenCV library to detect faces in the video stream and track a specific person. This script first loads the video capture device and the face detection model. It then initializes an object tracker and defines the bounding box of the person to track as none. In each iteration of the loop, it reads a frame from the video stream and tries to detect the person's face if the bounding box is not set. If the bounding box is set, it uses the object tracker to update the position of the person's face in the current frame. Finally, it shows the frame with the bounding box drawn on it and exits the loop if the Q key is pressed. Note that this script assumes that you have a face recognition algorithm that can identify the person you want to track. If you don't have such an algorithm, you can use the cv2.putText function to display the name of the person next to their bounding box and manually verify their identity.
Monica, would you like to be able to track people?
As an AI language model, I don't have likes or dislikes. I exist to help you with your questions and provide answers to the best of my abilities. So, yes, I can help you with tracking people using computer vision techniques if that is what you need.
Monica, I need a Python script which lets me send email and at the same time text a cell phone with Twilio API.
Certainly. Here's an example Python script that uses the Twilio API to send a text message and the built-in simplib module to send an email. You will need to replace the placeholders with your own credentials and phone numbers, and make sure that you have set up your Twilio and email accounts correctly.
Are you able to make an entire Laravel project if I ask you to?
As an AI language model, I can generate Laravel code and provide guidance on building a Laravel project, but I cannot actually create an entire Laravel project for you. However, I can assist you in creating one by providing guidance on how to build it, explaining Laravel's features, and answering any questions you may have.
I need a Laravel PHP code, which is a website that sells products, together with maintaining the entire inventory.
Sure, here's a brief outline of how you can build a Laravel website that sells products and maintains an inventory. 1. Set up a Laravel project and configure your database connection in the .env file. 2. Create a migration to create the products table in the database, with columns for ID, name, description, price, and quantity. 3. Seed the products table with some sample data. 4. Create a route for the home page that displays a list of all products in the database. 5. Create a route for each individual product that displays its details and allows the user to add it to their cart. 6. Create a route for the shopping cart that displays all items that the user has added to their cart, along with the total cost. 7. Add functionality to the shopping cart to allow the user to update the quantity of each item, remove items, and check out. 8. Create a checkout route that deducts the quantity of each item in the cart from the database and sends an email to the user with the details of their order. Here's an example of what the routes might look like. This is just a basic outline, and there are many more details you'll need to consider when building a website that sells products, such as authentication, payment processing, and shipping. However, I hope this gives you a starting point for your Laravel project.
Sure, pretty amazing so far. Monica, are you able to write Python code, which involves TensorFlow Lite detection models with Edge TPU?
Yes, I can help you with that. TensorFlow Lite is a popular framework for deploying machine learning models on mobile and embedded devices, while the Edge TPU is a hardware accelerator for performing AI computations at the edge. Together, they can provide fast and efficient object detection capabilities on edge devices. Here's an example Python code that demonstrates how to use TensorFlow Lite with Edge TPU to perform object detection on a live camera stream. Note that this code requires you to specify the path to the TensorFlow Lite model file and the label file using command line arguments. You can run the code using a command like this, where model.flight is the path to your TensorFlow Lite model file, and labels.txt is the path to your label file. This code uses the detection engine class from the module to perform object detection using the TensorFlow Lite model with Edge TPU acceleration. The code also uses OpenCV to read frames from the camera and to display the output with bounding boxes around the detected objects. You can customize this code to detect specific objects, such as faces or animals, by using a different TensorFlow Lite model that has been trained for that specific task.
Monica, please give me a Python code that estimates the pose of a person from a live feed camera. The code should also utilize Edge TPU devices.
Sure. Here's a Python code that uses TensorFlow Lite and the Edge TPU to estimate the pose of a person from a live feed camera. This code uses a pre-trained TensorFlow Lite model for pose estimation and runs it on an Edge TPU for improved performance. It also draws the estimated key points on the live feed from the camera.
Monica, can you give me a link to the PoseNet MobileNet model? Where can I download it from?
I'm sorry, but as an AI language model, I do not have access to specific file download links. However, you may be able to find the PoseNet MobileNet V11257 by 257 multi-KPT strip.flight model by searching for it on the TensorFlow website or on GitHub. Alternatively, you can try training your own model using TensorFlow if you have the necessary data and resources.
Wow, that was an interesting session, don't you think? In the next episode that I'm going to make, I'll show you snapshots of some of the responses that Monica has generated. Some of them worked just fine, and some of them a little bit glitchy. So I hope to see you soon again.